There, my name is Brent Smith. Once again, welcome to the Common Constitutionalist Weekend Monday video podcast. It was a busy weekend, so I didn't get to the podcast, so I'm doing this on Sunday afternoon for Monday morning release, and so there you go. In any event, I'm at my friendly neighborhood park. It's one of my favorite places to go. It's really nice. They've done such a good job with it. They're open. Well, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's a really nice park, and there are families and kids playing. There's not a mask to be seen, even on the old folks that are sitting in their little chatter circles and whatever. Their chat circles. There's no mask. It's just fabulous. In any event, something struck me, because what I'm going to be talking about is the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. But at any rate, what struck me is that everyone's just playing. There's not a care in the world. The children are just running around. There aren't any sirens going off. No, nothing. Everything's just great. Everything's freaking peachy in America relative to other places. See, America's the worst place on earth, except for every other place on earth. In any event, so that's the lead-in. It was just an observation of how much better we have it than the rest of the world, and how much freer and better we have it than Israel, who's the only democracy in the entire region where they are. So at any rate, that's all I wanted to say. Again, I'll be speaking about the Israeli-Palestinian ongoing conflict and what a joke it is. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So getting on to this Israeli-Palestinian conflict, there isn't a conflict, and there never will be a conflict. You'll notice that during the almost 4-year ceasefire, for want of a better term, there wasn't a shot fired, and Israel didn't do a thing. And and that's the interesting thing is that when you get right down to it, the test for this is always if Hamas, Hezbollah, Islamic Jihad, the Palestinians, if they all laid down their weapons tomorrow and just walked away, what would happen to that territory? Would Israel attack it? No. Would Israel lob a single rocket, a single missile, a single gunshot, anything into that territory? No, not a thing would happen. There would be instant peace, instant and lasting peace, until someone else broke the peace, okay? Now, you have to flip it, okay? It's the same argument. If Israel put all their weapons down, decommissioned all their missiles, all their Iron Dome system and whatnot, what would happen? The hour after it was done, 5 minutes after Hamas and the rest of the Islamic terrorists discovered that Israel had just laid down their arms and walked away, they would be overrun. There would be rockets raining down on them. There would be terrorist bombings. There would be nothing left of Israel within probably about a week, if the Israeli army, the Israeli Defense Force, just laid all their weapons down. So you know who the antagonists are, who are the good guys and who are the bad guys. And the bad guys are always portrayed by the mainstream media, by the leftist media, as Israel, because of their military might. And you get these things where you see them all the time. I just watched a couple of them yesterday, where the media has something about some sort of apartment building in Gaza that was bombed and a couple of children were killed. First, I don't believe that a couple of children were killed, and even if they were, Hamas couldn't care less. They don't care about their own people, and they don't care about the Palestinians. What they do care about is exactly what's in their charter, which is to eradicate Israel and wipe out, kill all the Jews. That's their charter. That's their nation's charter. It's like their constitution. We would be constitutionally bound if that were the case. It's the same type of thing, carries the same weight. And the Palestinians are no different. Hamas, it's all the same thing. They're all the same thing, and they're all working toward the same goal: the absolute annihilation and eradication of everything Israel and all Israeli people. Doesn't matter. And whoever gets killed during the fight, it doesn't make any difference. It doesn't matter how many Palestinian children die. They don't care. They don't give a crap. It doesn't matter to them. As a matter of fact, they use that time and time and time again. If somebody gets killed on their side, they trot them down, and don't even believe the fact that if somebody says, well, there were 5 Palestinians killed, and you can actually see the dead bodies, don't believe that they're actually dead, because I've actually seen video several years ago where they actually had a funeral for a Palestinian man that was blown up by an Israeli missile, and unfortunately they were too stupid to cut the film, and they continued to film it, and they got around the corner with the coffin. They laid the coffin down, the coffin opened up, and the guy got up and run away. So you can't even believe that. You can't believe anything that these dirtbag terrorists. Now, as far as lobbing hundreds and hundreds of rockets just indiscriminately into Israel, what kind of response do you expect them to have? So that's about all I've got. Oh, other than I just heard on the way to doing this podcast today something absolutely stunningly awesome. Israel wiped out a bunch of command and control weapons, personnel, and everything in Hamas in the Gaza Strip. A bunch of Hamas higher-ups, weapons, command and control function, lots of crap, and they did it deceptively. It's just absolutely awesome. They tricked Hamas. Not that these guys are any brain surgeons, but what they did, apparently, at least these are the reports coming out, is, and it's just absolutely awesome. They made Hamas, the terrorist pieces of crap, and I could use a lot worse expletives than pieces of crap, believe that they were mounting a ground attack on the Gaza Strip, okay, right at the edge. And so they had tanks, they had infantry, they had guns, they had artillery, they had everything, and these guys were wound up, and the tanks were billowing diesel smoke out the back, and everything was ready to go. And so Hamas has these miles and miles of these subterranean tunnels. Okay, it's kind of like the Japanese had on Iwo Jima and other islands. But at any rate, so to hide. So when they get attacked, they can go hide. Nothing gets ruined. Nobody dies. Command and control and weapons and whatnot are maintained and retained. And then they come back up out of their little spider holes, pieces of crap. So evidently Israel knew where a bunch of these tunnels were and where they led to, how long they were and whatever, and who was likely to be down there. So what they did was they faked a ground invasion, and then they took 160 aircraft and bombarded these tunnels with missiles, and I don't know whether they're bunker busters or whatever the crap they were, but they obliterated them, and they wiped out a bunch of Hamas, a bunch of their command and control, a bunch of their weapons and missiles, or rockets and stuff. So hooray for them. This might have just been a one-off, one-shot deal, because you might be hard-pressed, although Hamas ain't the brightest bulbs on the tree. I think it's just awesome, and they should all be wiped from the face of the earth, because they're nothing but pure evil. Now I'm done. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Yay, America. Yay, Israel. Go get them. Because we got your back, but the Biden administration sure doesn't. The Democrat Congress and Senate sure doesn't. None of these leftist a-holes have your back. Just listen to the squad, and you'll see that's where the leftists lie. that end of the spectrum. Wow. Okay, now I'm done. See ya.